Hey guys, welcome back to another episode. And this week I have a lot of things that I would like to talk to you about. So I'm kind of having a hard time working out where I should start because honestly, it has been hard. Actually, hard is an understatement. It's been perpetually, monumentally difficult this week to kind of just stick to the goals. So again, I spoke to you guys last week about hyperphagia, that desire to eat more than is required, right? So I've been feeling pretty full in the stomach, but my brain's like, nah, you should probably keep eating, Holly. No, keep going. So this week I definitely found myself kind of like hovering in the kitchen. I was just like this. I've got like one person telling me not to eat, one going, you should eat, listen to your hunger. So I felt really conflicted. And I think this is even more difficult for me. You guys know, you've been following me for a hot minute now, my struggles with my eating disorder for the last 15 years. It's been good for the last 3 years now, which is excellent. And I feel like I've truly been able to kind of overcome that, working on my body image, self-love, learning just to be happy in my body. So with all of that transition happening over the last 3 years or so, the thoughts and feelings that I have had in this recovery process, it's been really conflicting. So part of me recovering was just to learn to honor my hunger cues, not have any feelings of guilt, unconditional permission to eat when I am actually hungry, but also recognize that it's okay to eat if you are in a social situation, even if it might not fit your macros. Like, you know, that's something that you might enjoy. And maybe the psychological benefits of that social eating will outweigh, you know, any of the other benefits that it might have for health goals or physique goals, etc. One of the things that I did have to work on was trying not to eat out of emotion. So something that I used to do is if I was really stressed or if I had anxiety or I felt uncomfortable, whatever that feeling might be in that moment, I would often kind of just gravitate towards eating. It gave me that initial sense of comfort. Like, it was like very temporary though. So as soon as those endorphins and that, you know, happy feeling of like eating your favorite food goes, the underlying issue was still there. So I did that and masked those emotions for such a long time. So I had to learn and rewire my brain not to eat in those moments and find something else to do. And that took a lot of work. You can imagine in this reverse diet setting where, you know, I still want to treat my body well. I want to nourish it. I want to, you know, provide it with good foods. I want to make sure it's got energy to do the things that it needs to do. But listening or honoring your hunger in this unique situation is really hard because it's gonna stay there. That hunger doesn't really dissipate until your body fat gets back to, I guess, your normal body fat set point. That's kind of where I left off last week. Trying not to just go crazy and listen to those potentially skewed messages has been hard because I've had to really sit and like literally sit down in a few of those moments and be like, okay, what have you eaten today? Let's think about what would be considered, you know, a normal size portion. How is your physical fullness? Is there any emotions coming through in this present moment that might actually be influencing my desires to eat now? So I've had to do a lot more cognitive work and really start to think through why are you wanting to eat? So it's been hard, and I think you're probably going to see that I definitely went over my calories this week. I know as a, I guess, top athlete, so many people probably have the assumption that, oh, well, if she can look like that, maybe, you know, she just has it perfect and does it correctly all the time, and maybe there's something wrong with me. No. Like, I still suffer and struggle with these same challenges, but I think the more you do it, the better you get at kind of managing, you know, this process or whatever the challenges are that you're kind of overcoming. So definitely don't think I'll be compliant this week, and I'm eager to take a look because I have not yet seen what my average calorie intake was, and I'm also yet to get on the scale. So let's go and actually do that for a second, shall we? You know exactly how I feel right now, right? Because I hear this from my clients all the time. I hear this all the time from girls saying, I have such a fear of getting on the scale. It's like, oh, the dreaded scale. here we are. I don't know what my weight is. Ah! Oh my God. Whew. Okay, this is me. I'm gonna just check it once more, just make sure that's fine. Okay. That's a little bit much for me right now. Okay, whew, let me just settle down. Okay, so 65.3. So just 3 weeks ago, coming up to 3 weeks, I was 61.9. That's a little bit of weight gain. So here I am, I'm still alive. I got on the scale, girls. It's not the end of the world. This is a true feeling right now. It's probably more than I wanted to be or see, because I really tempered things back this week compared to the week of just YOLO, ate cookies, did what I want, just it's 1 week. So that's it. That's fine. I'm going to move on and continue to progress forward. So I think my original goal when I'd set up the reverse diet was to target about 0.1 of a kilogram per week. So I've just done 200% of that, which is fine. It's fine. I'll get over it. But you know, this is a really good body weight for me. This is always my body fat set point. I tend to come right back to 65 kilos and I always get stuck at 65 kilos when I'm going down. So it doesn't surprise me. And I think I'm used to this. Like, this is how it goes for me. So this coming week, what I think I'm probably going to do is I'm not going to have been compliant, so I'll try to hit my numbers again, but I am going to start to temper back, I guess, the amount of cardio that I'm doing. So in the lead up to show, I was doing 2 high intensity interval sessions, and it was just for the last 2 weeks for 30 minutes. And that was just to kind of get my energy expenditure up just a little bit more to drop that last little bit of body fat for the show. So this week I'm going to actually scale it back just to 1 session. And then next week, I'll probably drop it out altogether and just continue on with my lifting, but I'll still continue to work towards a 10,000 step count as my weekly or my average daily steps. So that's the only change that I think I'll make this week. As far as resistance training is concerned, I am now week 2 into a new training block. So for those of you that did the Road to Worlds program, you guys can actually access what I'm currently doing if you are part of the Road to Worlds Facebook group. So it is a private group. You have to request, and then I can go and grant permission to enable you to join. But I posted it up, I think it was on Tuesday, my new program. So you can go and take a look at that. It's just in a screenshot format. My intentions is to get it up onto either the Byline website or A.P.D Nutrition at some point. It's just finding some time to action that. So it is available if you want to see the reps, the sets, the exercise selection. There's some descriptions in there, and that's what I will be doing now for at least the next 6 weeks, and then I might make some modifications. So that's the training side of things. But diet this week is going to be challenging, and that is because we've got the in-laws in town this week. We also have a birthday party, so Liv's birthday is this weekend, which will be super exciting. So I don't know, there's just a lot more social stuff. You know, we go out for a couple of dinners with the family. There's just a lot more, like, our life doesn't stop really. I'd love to say we could just take some extra time to, you know, relax. I don't even know what that is anymore. I feel like that's a skill that I don't know how to do. I think I talked about that actually in my videos when I was in Vegas, because there was like an awkward amount of time between events. And I was sitting in my room and I was like, what do I do? I'm not used to standing around doing nothing. So I was getting anxiety from not having anything to do. It was so bizarre. But anyway, that sadly cannot happen this week. So we kind of just have to fit everything else in. So it always adds a little bit more stress. And I think for any parents out there that are planning birthdays, there's like 1,000,000,001 things that you kind of have to organize. So we've done that. I've also been kind of redecorating one of our rooms in our home. So I've just been trying to find like 30 minutes here and there to kind of find that rug, and then 30 minutes here to go and pick that piece of furniture. And then I had to go out somewhere on the weekend to find all the pillows and get this and get that. There's just been extra things, and there will be extra things. So for me, knowing that my history is eating out of response to stress, planning even though I've finished my show and that's all done, planning is still super important. I've got all my groceries organized. I'm going to be doing my meal prep. So just chopping up all those veggies and everything again, making sure I've got plenty of good low calorie options available so that I can really do my best to kind of stay consistent to those targets. And something else that I also did was just kind of minimize the amount of diversity of foods that I have access to. So again, people are going to be, different. Some people are triggered by this, some people are triggered by that. For me, I think when I've got too many options, I already have a lot of decisions that I have to make in the day, just with work, etc. So, if I can remove another decision that I have to make by just going, oh, yep, I've just got that one thing right there, I'll do that. That makes it easier for me. If I have like 10 options and then I start trying to work out macros and then I get a little bit flustered, I'm like, oh, there's too many options and they all look really good, I can't make a decision. That's actually not good for me. So fewer options this week, just less temptation, I think, and that will help me get through to the next week. So let's go and have a look at my actual data for the week. All right, so we are in the me section of Carb and Diet Coach. We're gonna go to calories. Just gonna scroll across the page. Oh, this is probably worse than me looking at the scale number. My God. Yeah, hungry fella. So average 23.45. Friday was my highest day at 29.36. I don't even know what I ate on Friday, but it was good. Sunday, 28.15, and then another day at 24. So kind of a little bit of fluctuation there. It seems kind of consistent between 2,000 and 3,000, just 1,000 calorie range. Don't mind me. I feel really guilty saying that because I know there's a lot of you that are still dieting and probably on 1,100 calories. So when I say 1,000 calorie fluctuation, I know for me, 3 weeks ago when I was on 1,100 or 1,200 calories, I'll be like, stop you. So I won't dwell on this too much. We'll just move on. Some fluctuation there, as you can see. Protein. Oh my God. Wow. Oh wow, 191. Okay, so I definitely know that I've had 190 grams of protein before. I feel like I've talked to you in maybe week 5 of my contest prep, and I think I hit over 200. So 191, there was one day where I had 276 grams of protein. I was getting my meat on, definitely that day. What was I doing on Thursday that I had 270 grams of protein? Texas Day, Brazil. Friends, Texas Day, Brazil. So for those of you that don't live in the US, it's a meat house, a house of meat. So it's Brazilian style. You go in and you sit down, you've got a little, I guess a paddle on your table, and one side's red, one side's green. So if you want more, you put the green side down and the waiters are just kind of coming around the entire time. And they have a whole rack of lamb. And then they get their knife out and they're like, you want more? And they'll just grind it onto your plate. And they have so many different styles. I guess there's braised lamb shank. They do bison, filet, duck. I think they had livers, which I politely declined. I think they had chicken hearts. They had Parmesan crusted chicken. Now that's more up my alley, and a bunch of other really awesome cuts of meat. So that makes sense. I probably also had a lot of fat that day too. So anyways, that was my protein intake, so very high. So clearly I'm at no risk of losing lean body mass right now based on those numbers. And then we have a look at fats. Oh no, it wasn't too bad. Average fat intake for the week was 60. And if I'm being truthful, I think I actually had some peanut butter last night in a bowl of something or other, and I didn't track it. So there's probably a little bit more that I actually didn't track correctly. Carbohydrates, let's have a look at the average from Monday through to Sunday. Oh dang, 262 grams of carbs. Clearly my energy is better this week. And I did have a wonderful training session this morning, I might add. Squats, please. It was a breeze. So that was my intake for the week. I've only done the one weigh-in, and that was just now. So 65.3. I will get back into the habit, I think, this week. I know that if I let this or those good behaviors go or extend too long, I'm just going to go into a place that, it's not healthy. I don't want to get to a point where I just feel like I'm letting things go. So back to some good behaviors. I'll probably weigh in maybe like 3 or 4 times this week, just to kind of keep me accountable. Otherwise, I might just get back to 70 kilos by next week, who knows? So obviously I don't mind. I think when I look back at the weight at 70 kilos, I was happy insofar as myself, like I was good with that, but I also didn't feel physically very good. And I might have mentioned in previous videos, around that weight, I was having a hard time just moving. Like my body didn't feel good. Like walking up and down stairs, I could feel like my legs would almost ache and I'd get out of breath and I'm like, this isn't good. Like I don't feel very nice, even though I'd learned to I'd embraced that. So I don't want to get to that place because I didn't physically feel very good. So if I can find a nice compromise, but if I'm to do that, I can't just let all those good behaviors that got me to the stage weight go in the first place. So we'll get back on that this week. So let's do the check-in. Okay. Was I compliant to my macro targets? Well, that's a no. Protein, way over. Carbs, way over. Fat, we'll hit no. Current weight, 65.3. Body fat, I feel good. I was looking at myself in the mirror today at the gym. I was like, oh yeah, I'm doing okay. I don't know what my body fat is. Didn't take it this week. Are you close to your menstrual cycle? I don't know. We'll say no. I'm so grateful for not having had my period every 2 weeks. I just counted the days this morning. It's been 37 days since I had a cycle. So I'm just like, party! Not to be celebrated, not necessarily a good sign. It just means that I have not recovered yet. But man, it's nice not to have that to worry about every 2 weeks. It's probably the only benefit. So things didn't go as planned. Calories and macros were a little off for our liking. Don't worry, this won't ruin the plan if you get back on track. Let's try to hit those targets a little closer each day this week. You got this. So calories are staying the same. 145 protein. I'll probably keep the macro display as it is. You can see on the screen here, 212 carbs, 60 fat as a goal. I kind of oscillate between the two depending on what foods are presented to me. So this week, I kind of seem to gravitate more towards carbohydrates. You can see my average was like 276, but I don't really want to have to. If I wanted to take my carbs up to that much, it won't even let me. Yeah, because then my fats go down too low. So I think that this ratio is pretty good here. Save that. All right, let's go. So off to a new week. Reverse dieting is hard, and I think a lot of you are really hard on yourselves. The reason that you are struggling isn't abnormal, it's a physiological response to fat loss, and it may continue and extend for longer for some people than it will for others. So I think as long as you are prepared for that and that you hopefully are working with somebody that can help to give you that positive support, motivate you to keep working through it, things will get better. The feelings that we have are never permanent. There's always tomorrow. Or if you wake up, it's a new day. Just get back on track. What can I do in this very moment or in this day that will help me move closer towards my goals? So if you think, if you look to the top of a mountain, it can feel like, how do I get there? But if you can approach that, what's the next little mountain? What's the little things that I can do to, move forwards? That's great. So I'll certainly be doing that this week, day by day, see how I do. If you didn't catch this last week's episode on Beauty and the Geek podcast, I know I don't talk about that very often on here, but we do have a podcast. We just finished our season finale and I think we had about 30 episodes. So go and check that out. It's available on all platforms where you can listen to podcasts. I have some links in my bio, or you can go to my Instagram page or the Beauty and the Geek Instagram page. You can check the links there. But yeah, we finished off on a really awesome, very motivating speaker. Actually, we had James Smith on the podcast last week. So we actually talked a lot about achieving your goals, setbacks, overcoming hurdles, how to move past, big challenges, overcoming fears. So that was a really awesome podcast. If you're not subscribed, go and subscribe to that. It is, Lane is my co-host, or I am Lane's co-host, whichever way you want to look at it. And what else can I tell you about? That's it. That's all I got for you guys. I thought there was more, but there's not. That's it. Have a wonderful week, and I look forward to chatting with you at my next check-in. Wish me luck.